People come from all walks of life. They all have lives they lead. Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hi, everyone. Well, today I get to interview my first interior designer, owner of Jil Sonia Interiors. Ladies and gentlemen, Jil Sonia McDonald. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, thanks so much for doing this.
I'm so excited.
So am I. As I said before I started recording, I really am excited about it because there's so many things I would like to know about interior designing, and I'm sure there are a lot of other people who want to know things as well.
Oh, great.
So
okay.
I'm sure you'll have an audience. Now, you were trained to be an interior designer, correct?
Yes. Yeah. It was 4 years of schooling, and it covered everything from architectural influences. I'm not an architect. I'm not a contractor, but we needed to know the influences even of Grecian and Roman design. So we go way back to the very beginning, history, and then all the way up to mid-century modern, all sorts of things, Art Deco, and then right up to the current favorite that is kind of starting to kind of come down a bit and trending. It's the modern farmhouse. It was really hot for a few years, but so they kind of teach us about all of that.
Very good.
Good to know.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I want to know, like I've met some people who seem to be just naturals at putting colors together or knowing how to place furniture. I'm not one of those people. I would like to know, are you like that? Like before you got your training, did you have that ability?
Yeah, I actually, my dad started off as a realtor. And so I kind of fell into that in my 20s and went the real estate route. And I found when taking a client through the home, I would say, well, what about this tile? What if we could switch that out? Or let's change that color to a cream wall instead of dusty rose. That sort of thing. So I did kind of have a little bit of a lean towards that. And I think you really do need to be creative to be an interior designer, but mostly it's a lot of business.
Right.
So
one of the things I want to know about, like if I go, let's just say I want to match something that I have in on my walls that's green, and I go into a store and I look and there's so many different shades. And I'm unable to do that when I'm away from what I'm going to match it with. Is that something you can do naturally?
Yes, it's all about what we call the undertone of a color. It could be an undertone of the color of paint or of sofa fabric, drapery fabric, rugs. So it's all getting the undertone. People can generally get the color. You know, is it gray? Is it beige? Is it pink? Is it yellow? That sort of thing, the color. But for example, gray has got 3 different undertones. It could be a kind of a bluish gray, a greenish gray, or a purplish gray. So what I do if I'm out shopping for a client, I will determine the undertone of the sofa or whatever they're working with. I will match that up to a fan deck and get the color. So if we wanted to paint that couch in that color, what color would that be? Then I take a little sample or a little paint chip off to the store and I say, this is the color I've got to kind of work with. And that's my little tip to help.
All right.
Yeah.
There's sometimes like I can't identify colors, you know. I think
it's tough.
Yeah, we're going to call that one plume or something. I have no idea what it is. So, you were talking about the modern farmhouse.
Yeah.
Kind of going out of style or whatever. Who determines what's going to be in style and what's not? Like, how does that all come about?
You know, when I started design, I thought that it was a group of designers and influencers in New York in a big office building that they kind of determine the trends and the styles. But really, it's not. It's really the people. The designers will look to the fashions that are going on. They will look to the car manufacturers, what color cars are trending, what colors of paint are people just buying on their own because they love it. Even graffiti, things like that. They really look to the people on the street. Even if you're saying a high rise and you look down at the people and see generally what colors are they wearing, what do they like, and that's where kind of those styles or influences come from.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. I would never have thought that. So what's new in the design world right now?
You know what's new? Some people will be happy about this, some people won't. More of the warm colors are coming back in.
Okay.
So browns, cognacs, caramels. Most people are doing still a white wall right now. They like it a little bit lighter and fresher. Lighter flooring is still in. We want to get something that's a little bit more of a neutral for the firm finishes, I call them, finishes that aren't changing. You know, if you go with a hot pink pillow, for example, well, that's $25. You can toss that out when hot pink kind of finishes its moment. But for anything hard and firm, we go with kind of neutral colors. So with the farmhouse, we can carry over some of those wood tones, meaning the lighter oaky kind of a look.
Right.
But we'll bring it in with maybe a cognac sofa. And that will kind of update it a little bit, where we would have had, say, a gray sofa before.
Okay. So
Grays are kind of going out.
Oh, okay. Okay. But so it's still the farmhouse though?
It is, but it's waning.
Okay.
I think people get tired of that. Generally, design trends go on about a 10-year cycle.
Right.
And so we're coming just about around to year 8 or 9 on that modern farmhouse. So people are looking for something a little different, maybe a little bit warmer.
And what do you think that's going to be?
I think it's going to be more, I think we're going to be going with more texture. So maybe big, a jute rug, something with a little bit of texture, sisal rugs. A big woven basket, maybe underneath a big fiddly fig tree.
Okay.
Even the old times that we had, you know, baskets on the walls, like a flat basket on the wall, that kind of thing is starting to come back in. Something texture,
Right.
warm and cozy.
Right. I guess things do come around, don't they?
They sure do. Yeah, my mom said, don't ever throw anything out. And you know, she's right. I'm looking at just off camera here some chairs that she had from the 1960s, and they're perfect. They're timeless and they fit in now. They're beautiful cream color.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'd almost have to have a warehouse if you want to keep old things, you know, things that,
Yeah,
you know, because most of us don't have that kind of space, right?
it's true. Yeah.
But then
Go with quality and go with neutrals.
Okay.
And that's a good place to put your money into.
Mm-hmm.
So like these chairs, I think they cost her about $1,700 each. They weren't inexpensive, but being that she had them, I think since 1968, I think that's been a good investment.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Now, for you personally, now how has your work changed with COVID?
Yeah. What a couple of years, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I have had to, I think we're all calling it pivot now.
Right.
So I've had to pivot my business to go online instead of into buildings, into people's homes. To be honest, I didn't quite think I could do that to start with.
Right.
But because I've been a designer for about 16 years now, I kind of know what most people's homes are going to entail and what most people are looking for. So that's helpful. Then I just ask them for their floor plans, even if it's just say a living room.
Right?
Just ask for a rough measurement. Is it 16 feet by 12 feet, something like that? And I find the bulk of my work I did at my design office anyhow.
Okay.
So I would go and make up what we call a furniture plan, which is similar to a floor plan, but it's got the dimensions of the furniture on there. And then I'll just work away for a couple weeks, figure out exactly what sizes, shapes, colors. I make up something else that we call a mood board, which is basically, it's a conglomeration of photos of the rugs that I'm suggesting, sofas, chairs, pillows, all those kind of things. You see how it all looks together.
Right.
And that combined with the furniture plan showing where it all sits, where it all lays, then people can kind of get a great idea and run with it. So really, it's basically doing what I would do anyhow at my design office. I would make up a furniture plan. I would make up a mood board anyhow. It's just generally then after visiting the client, I would go home, work on, do all that. And then a couple of weeks, I would come back and then show them printed copies.
Right.
Well, now I'm emailing them the copies.
Or just think about, as you're talking about, you know, the layout and all this, like my living room, you know, I have a nice solid wall. I've got a window, a fireplace, a window, and under two of those windows are baseboard heaters. You know, so that makes, like, a lot of places probably are like mine where they're quite a bit of a challenge because you don't want to block the heaters, right? You know,
right. So you can't use floor length drapery then.
Right.
Right. And so we would go with maybe if you wanted to add a little something to soften the windows, maybe a Roman blind, something that comes down from the top, or maybe just a blind, a pretty sheer blind, something like that. And
and again, when things come down, the windows open this way.
Right.
Right. You know, so, and I don't like verticals. I never have, but here's another challenge. You know?
That's right. And that's where experience really comes in. You know, for some new designers, it might be a little bit challenging, but I've seen that, and I know, okay, you want a Roman blind, something that you just pull and it goes up and it tucks away tight at the top, and then you can open the window to the side or out, or however the Roman ones actually go from the top out. And so that's kind of the best way to handle that. Yeah.
No, what I'd like to know is what is the most, for you, again, what is the most fun about being, and I'm using some of the questions actually that I thought you would have me ask.
Okay.
What are some of the most fun things about being an interior decorator?
Meeting people. I love meeting people. I'm finding for just about everybody, our home really affects how we feel emotionally. And we don't need to put a lot of money into our homes to have it really reflect your personality. You know, a can of paint, $70, and an ugly color costs the same amount as a pretty color. So you might as well get, you know, something pretty. So seeing my clients at the end of the process, I had one client, she's German, she's beautiful, living actually in Surrey, and she always wanted a bright orange kitchen. She loved orange, and I mean bright orange. So I kind of hummed and hawed and tried to, you know, dissuade her from that, but she wanted it. So I said, let's do it. So we did a bright neon orange. It was called Racing Orange. And she loved it. She jumped up and down like a schoolgirl.
Awesome.
And that's what makes design fun for me, is seeing that kind of reaction.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of paint, it can be very difficult for people to choose the color of paint, right?
Yeah. There's about 3,000 colors to choose from.
Yeah.
there's 140 different whites.
Mm.
So it's really tough, really tough. So, you know, of course, I would suggest hiring a color consultant like myself or one of my other colleagues to come in, but really checking out the undertone of the color
Right.
and making sure that you really kind of see the color and compare paint chips next to each other, maybe get 3 or 4.
Mhm.
With what I'm doing online, I courier out 8-inch by 10-inch samples, painted samples
Right.
to my clients so they can see what they look like rather than just a little,
Oh,
1 by
yeah.
1 inch little, I can't even
Yeah.
pick color looking at those little things. So get a big sample
Nice.
and hold it against the existing elements in the room. And that really, really helps.
Right. Okay, let's just say I wanted to renovate my kitchen.
Yeah.
How would I even start?
Yeah. If you can, and I realize this is very difficult, is trying to determine a budget.
Right. Okay.
I know a lot of people don't know how much do kitchen cabinets cost. How much does quartz countertops cost? They don't know. So I'll kind of work with them a little bit to determine their budget. Usually kitchens are 40,000 or so. So it's a pretty big chunk if you want to change everything.
Right.
That's including hiring a contractor and tile and new paint, that sort of thing. But really determine what works for you functionally. I'm all about my type of designing is function first. It's got to work for you. It's got to be great if you have kids or maybe people have physical challenges. They can't, maybe they're in a wheelchair or they can't stand up, that sort of thing. So we're going to make sure that the function of the kitchen is great. So make a list of your needs, everything that you need. Do you bake a lot?
Right.
Do you roll out cookie dough a lot? So we want a big island to kind of roll that out on. Start with the function after the budget, and then go into your the hard finishes. Your cabinets, I would suggest going with neutral colors, something white or cream or even woods are kind of trending back again.
Right.
A light wood color. Then kind of work from there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago, there was a show, I think it was called Trading Spaces.
Yeah.
And some of those designers, like, they made me insane.
Me too.
Because some of the stupidest things they did.
One of the ladies, I think she glued moss onto a wall.
Another one stapled flowers on a bathroom wall. Artificial flowers.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you thinking?
It gives designers a bad name. We're really not all like that. It's fine to have a little fun, but that's crazy.
Now, what if somebody were to enter into wanted to become a designer?
Yeah.
What tips or what suggestions would you have for them?
Good design is about 80 or 90% business. Really, being a designer is accounting, it's getting a website up and running, it's social media, it's marketing, it's figuring out how to draw furniture plans, that sort of thing. So I would say, a lot of designers don't tell you this, but take a business course first. I really wished I would have done that. Then you get the whole understanding of how to run a business. And then after you've got that done, then go into the designer courses. There's a great one at BCIT that runs. And then decide whether you want to be a designer or a decorator. Do you know the difference between the two?
Well, I was just going to ask you, what is the difference?
Right. Designers, we work more closely with contractors and builders. we can kind of look at a dividing wall, and we're not authorized to say whether that wall can come down or not. But we know enough if there's a good enough chance, so we should bring a contractor in
Mhm.
and then get the AOK or an engineer in. So
Right.
we'll maybe suggest moving walls, changing kitchen cabinet layouts, those kind of things.
Right.
Decorators, while still absolutely valid, are more about furniture and pillows and paint colors and
Oh, okay.
those kind of the pretty things. So designers lean a little bit more towards the structural part of things, leaning heavily on contractors and
Mhm.
engineers, and decorators are more the things that you kind of touch.
Very good. Now,
Yeah.
as a designer, have you won any awards?
Yeah. I've been really excited that since I believe it was 2013, I won the Best of House Award each year.
Mm-hmm.
And since 2017, the top 3 rated designers for my area. So I'm
Very
really
nice. Congratulations.
very honored. Thank you. It's my amazing clients that help me with that, and they allow me to photograph their beautiful homes when they're finished. And
Right.
yeah,
Now, because styles and colors are constantly changing, how do you keep up?
yeah. We do a lot of webinars, probably 1 or 2 a week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going with, like, I've got one coming up with Sherwin-Williams. They're talking about the coloring that they're seeing kind of coming up.
Okay.
I'm constantly having lighting webinars, what's new in lighting, how to determine your recessed lighting spacing, things like that. So that's how we kind of know what's hot. And then a lot of it comes from my clients.
Very
They'll
good.
say, I really like this, or a lot of them are going still with that modern farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those kind of my top choices of where I get my inspiration from. And
Very good. So I imagine you're always training and always looking for what's new, and all of that is involved in what you were just talking about, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, always something new, always something fresh.
So
Yeah.
if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that? What is your website? You do
Yeah,
have one, right?
Yeah, my website is Jil, it's just Jil with 1 L, just Jil, Sonia, which is my middle name, interiors, plural.com. So
All right.
JilSoniaInteriors.com. And if you click over on the right side, you'll see a contact/questionnaire.
Okay.
You fill out, it's kind of a fun design questionnaire. What are your tastes? What are your styles? What colors do you like? Do you have a family? Are you renting? Do you own? That sort of thing.
Right.
And it's a good place to get going.
Very good. Well, we're out of time.
Okay.
Just stay on camera for a second. So yes, everybody, I hope you enjoyed listening to Jill, the things she had to say about design. And I will include her contact so that if you would like to get a hold of her, as she said, ask her questions, and maybe you need help with some particular project. If she can't help you, I'm sure she's willing to direct you to whoever can. And hope you keep watching the show and stay safe, and peace out, everyone. Until next time.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.